And we'd like to point out, though, that if you want the always, go to Walmart, because that's where the always sign is above. Because we appreciate the fact that most people that we know or that we hear of don't necessarily address these questions. That what Inside Out is about is, I have the title for my book, is called Behind the Seams. And most of our life we are preoccupied with all the machinations of material life and trying to make it better and improve it and work it out and figure it out and pay the bills and get something to eat and have a good time and all that. And while we understand and appreciate that that's most of our conscious agenda for most of us, most of the time, at a certain point in your life, at least for me, it started when I was 23, I started saying, but wait a minute, what is it all about? What is it for? I recognized that I had a very, very tiny amount of time on this planet, in this body, no matter how long I lived. If I lived to the ripe old age of 589, it still was a very short time on this planet.
You're going to live to 589?
No, don't worry,
You're planning
honey.
to? What will your body look like? 589? That's like, oh my God, help. Do they have wrinkle cream when you're that old? You look like a little prune running around, a little prune that's saying things.
Yes, I could. That's why I swim so much, to practice looking like a prune.
A prune. A prune.
The point is that we live very short. Matter of fact, I came up with a one-word sentence for the human life, for the length of a human life, and it goes like this.
Thank you. You've just been here.
That's it, pretty much.
With a little period at the end, or an exclamation point if you happen to.
If you have a long life, you can add the exclamation point.
Or a life that may not be long, like Mozart didn't live a long life, but he had a very productive life.
Yeah, so he had like counterpuntal harmony in his.
And
yeah,
lots of those things at
like
the end.
Victor Borgia, remember him?
Yes, like the Victor. But I wanted to get back to you when you said the sign on the Walmart was always. I remember hearing once that, like, don't judge anything. The truth is everywhere. If you have ears to hear it and eyes to see it. And I was living with a family of Christian scientists. I had just come back from Europe, and I was living with them, and I was in a conundrum. Those conundrums that I fall into quite a lot since you know me. But in this conundrum, I was asking, like, I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what it was. And they were watching television daily. Like, they ate, and then they went into the TV room and watched TV. And this night, a football game was on, and the coach was being interviewed. And I was a good guest, and I spent time with them, and so I did what they did. And I sat down, and this coach being interviewed gave me the exact answer to my conundrum. Exact. It was like, boom. And it just blew me away. And I realized, yes, don't shut the door to anybody. The truth is everywhere, wherever you want to hear it. So my quest has been keeping that door open to hear, to receive whatever I need to move from step A to step B to step C.
Just by the way,
meeting you, I was told about.
Just so you know, the answer to her conundrum was right tackle, hold off the big, bad, hard guys, and you guys who go out for a pass over there, catch it.
I was just beginning to understand football. I didn't know football enough to have that be the answer to my question, but I don't even remember what it was. It was immaterial. What was material was the fact that I was answered. And do you know, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was praying about a partner, someone who could help me not be so, direct in my approach to people in terms of wanting to turn them on to spirituality. And I felt I needed tempering, quote unquote. And I really was told that I was going to meet somebody. And I drew the picture of this person, and it was like you. I have it somewhere in a little book.
Except it looked like me when I was...
I'll show it to you.
When I was 3 months old.
No, honey, it was you when you had your big beard. You looked like Moses with lots of hair and big beard. You were a
I had a girlfriend that I was really interested in years ago, and it
lots of years ago, before 35 years ago.
But it was very deflating when I was kind of like making my advances for her to say to me, You know, you remind me of Moses, because I knew that was not a sexually filled image for her, and it probably wasn't going to get me what I wanted.
Which
So,
was to part the Red Sea. Oh, did I say that?
I want to get back to our quest here and what this show's about, because part of what we're doing is wanting to help deepen, like, into different subjects that sometimes go like we don't think through things. Like, for example, Rochelle used the word prayer. Now, I suspect that prayer triggers all sorts of associations for different people, you know, ranging from some rote set of words that you may have used in church to something more deep and more mysterious and more profound, and everything in between. So
And it's all those in-between things that we live with daily, of course.
Right, right. And part of our challenge and what we want to do in the way we approach these kind of issues is to deepen into them and play with them in the sense that both Rochelle and I have learned not to take ourselves too seriously in this process, that sometimes when you can get
I take you very seriously.
Well, that's important.
No. We do try. In fact, 10 years ago, we renewed
been
our
more than
vows.
that.
11 years ago, we renewed our vows. And didn't we decide not to?
Right. We're not going to be a marriage per se.
We're going to be a comedy team.
Comedy team.
So we don't take ourselves or each other as seriously. And I think that's been working. I mean, don't you agree? I mean, don't you think that we've been doing it more and more?
Oh,
Not
yes,
as much
dear.
as we could.
Yes, dear.
But definitely more and more.
Absolutely.
See, there you are. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Agree with me?
Absolutely.
You'll always be in a good place if you agree
darling.
with everything I say.
I agreed with everything you say, and that's why we get along so well.
If that were only true.
You wish.
No, but what I think I was talking about was the fact that every day we look at things and we perceive them a certain way. And I think when we when the quest is to see with the eyes of spirit, I would say that's my quest, to see with those eyes, whatever that means. So it's almost like having the sixth sense, and to perceive the world through a sixth sense rather than the five senses we were given that are more attached to our bodies.
Let me give an example, because sometimes these words can be abstract, but let me ask you a question directly. Have you ever had an experience like where you were trying to solve a problem and you couldn't solve it, and then sometime later, or maybe not much later, a day later, an hour, a minute later, pop, the answer just popped into your mind, kind of like the football coach in your story. You know, it's like that. To me is like tapping into this mysterious dimension where all the answers hibernate, being timid as they are. And to me, that's beginning to tap into the larger gestalt of reality that we tend to call spirituality, but we really have no words to describe it, because it transcends all the vocabulary that can come out of sensory-oriented beings who develop languages as a way to negotiate their way around the senses without getting hurt too much.
Right.